You may know if you watch very many of my videos that I like to store food in mason jars. In this particular case, it's going to be non-fat dry milk. I've done one that's rice and potatoes, potato flakes, but this is non-fat dry milk, and I want to show you how I do it. Let me first say, I've had a lot of comments on my rice video, and I'll put a link to it so you can watch that if you haven't already. But I've got a lot of comments on that it was such a waste to use mason jars for food storage when you know, they're expensive. You could be using them for something else, or you could use buckets. And I have commented back that yes, I know you can use buckets, and I have done that, but this is kind of my preferred method now, and let me say why. To those that don't understand why someone would want to do this, not only am I storing milk and rice and potatoes and beans and whatever in the jars, but I'm also at the very same time storing jars. You know, what's the difference in having 10 cases of mason jars sitting over in the corner that you're saving for hard times, when you can have 10 cases of mason jars full of food that you're saving for hard times? You open the food, you've got a mason jar. Buy you some Tattler lids. I'm not going to use Tattlers in this particular demonstration, but you can use Tattler lids, which are reusable, or buy you a big supply of regular lids, regular ball lids. But I guess I don't understand the mindset of storing in jars being a waste of jars. Yes, they're pricey. Typically you can get a case of jars for $10, $11, $12. Walmart has their brand of jars for about $8 for quarts. The only bad reviews I see are the lids. People are not crazy about the lids. They say the lids buckle up and don't seal well. Well, in this instance, since you're doing a dry vacuum pack, that probably wouldn't happen, and so that might remedy that situation. So you may want to just go to Walmart and get some canning jars, some of their canning jars, and I forget the name of it, but I'll put it in the notation about now. But anyway, non-fat milk. This makes 22 quarts, and it is 4.4 pounds. I will be putting it in the jars, and then I'll vacuum seal it, and I'll show you what else I'm doing for any moisture issues that might come up. I'll make my own desiccant, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, I'll be making a desiccant now. Desiccant is something that absorbs moisture. The little pack that you see in some of the things that you buy, it says do not eat, that's a desiccant. In the past I've made one out of, for large buckets, out of a sock and some oil dry, some non-scented, just oil dry, which is basically 100% bentonite clay. But what I'm doing this time is I'll take a coffee filter, and I've got a jar here of rice, and this is rice that I vacuum packed. And about 2 years ago, when I opened it up to do this, it had a nice hiss to it. So it was well vacuum packed. I put it in the oven for about, well, I don't know, however long I was outside, an hour or two. And at about 150, I just want to make sure the rice was as dry as it could possibly be. Okay. Most of you will remember, or many of you will remember, they used to put rice in salt shakers, and for the reason, especially on humid days or down south where it is humid, to keep the salt free flowing, keep it from caking up, from getting hard, because the rice in the salt shakers was absorbing all the moisture, any moisture in it. The rice was so large that it was not coming out of the salt shaker. because it was letting the salt grains through, but not the rice. So it's a very good idea, I think. I hadn't seen anybody do it, but I believe it's a great idea. So I'm just putting it in the filter, wrapping it up, and I'll set that on top of the jar, the milk, when I put the milk in it. But that's my desiccant. I think it's a pretty neat little do. Okay, so I'm going to pour my milk in my jar. And I got, I'll let you know how many jars this big box of milk will do. I got it at Sam's, and it was 15, 18, something like that. And I'm going to leave enough room. Normally I would fill it up all the way. I'm going to leave enough room for my desiccant. That's about probably about an inch from the top. Put my desiccant on top, squish it down in there, and then I'll show you how to seal that jar. I think it goes without saying, although I did not say it, that the jars need to be clean. These jars just went through the dishwasher, and I put them also, and I typically do an air dry, but I put them on dry because I wanted some high heat in there to get them sterilized, as well as to get the water out. And I also ran a towel on inside just in case. If you're not familiar with this is a Foodsaver. It has an attachment on it where you can attach this cord, stick it in that hole, and this is a regular mouth jar, regular mouth vacuum sealer, canister sealer. And what you'll do is put a lid on it, put it down on there, turn your Foodsaver on, hit canister, okay, and it is through, and it has, you'll hear the vacuum. It has sealed that jar. The lid is sealed. At this point, I typically will put a ring on it if I've got plenty of rings. I don't really have plenty of rings right now, so I may not put rings on that. For extra safety, if you really are worried about it, you could put inside the jar, along with the desiccant, you could put a 100cc oxygen absorber, and that would, or you could, if you don't have a Foodsaver, you can use just the oxygen absorber. Just buy you a packet of oxygen absorbers. I will put a link to some below, and just put an O2 absorber in it. And then I like to do the desiccant simply because it's humid today. It's about 62% inside the house. So that's just for me a lot of humidity when you start trying to pack something that you want to be around long term. So that just gives you an idea. If you don't have a Foodsaver, if you don't have the lid, the canister, and it comes in wide mouth or regular mouth, you know, they're so versatile. You can obviously seal the bags, make your own bags from the rolls, but it also does these. Get all of them now. This is an old one, but all of them now have the attachment for the canister sealer. Some of them have it built in. But anyway, if you don't have it and really would rather not buy one, whatever, then look at put some O2 absorbers in here. 100 cc should be plenty for a quart. Typically 2,500 cc's is what you need for a 5-gallon bucket. So I think I did the math once before, and 100 cc oxygen absorber is plenty for a quart. You do the math and see what you think. Anyway, but this milk should be good for a long time, years and years and years and years. You know, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. If you've always wanted to start somewhere, this is a good place to start. If you don't have a cow, if you don't have a goat, you might want to try that. especially if you got little kiddos. But even if you're baking bread, even if you're doing, so many things need milk to do. There's so many recipes that use dry milk, non-fat milk. So I tried to make this quick. I did want to show you the food saver. I did want to show you the sealer here, but also let you know you can use the oxygen absorbers. So I'm sold on doing a desiccant. I believe the rice is going to be a real good desiccant. Heat it up first. The only reason I heated it up in the oven was because it is humid inside the house here. So, and it's a humid day. We got some rain coming, and you know, if it was 20% humidity outside, I may not would put the desiccant in there, but it's not. So I think it's a good deal. One box will do 7.5 quarts. Store some milk. Watch my video on rice. It's a little bit more extensive. I'll put a link to it below. And but anyway, y'all try this. Store you some milk. Got milk? Why not? I got milk. We're gone.